Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading and to your season. Happy birthday. If you're new, welcome to the Witch Switch, where we switch off everyday normal life and switch on to the witchery. If you're joining again, welcome back. Thank you. We are going to determine what you gotta let go of and not bring into this year. We're leaving 2025 behind. We're gonna focus on what you should be putting your time and energy into, as well as the outcome of it. All right, we're gonna pull up some Poppy Palin cards. Okay, that will help us determine what we have to leave behind. Now, you know, even in Chinese astrology, it starts in February, so there's still time to kind of leave things out. There's still time to kind of reshape, refocus if you feel like the first couple of weeks of January was a bust, or, you know, that's okay. It's Capricorn season. We're almost the end of the astrological year, so it's really not the time of beginnings anyway. So let's just help you figure out what you got to focus on in the meantime, so then by spring, by Aries season, you will have the fire to initiate anything that you desire. All right, Aquarius? So that's what we're going to do today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tap on the notification bell. If you want a one-on-one reading with me, I am going to be participating in events again this year. So follow me on Instagram to determine where I'll be at, especially if you're in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area. Okay. I do have some clients out on the West Coast, so if you ever want to re-engage with me again, we could totally do a Zoom call. All of that will be found on my website, www.thewitchswitch.com. And I have a current promotion, 30% off any reading of your choice. You know, make sure that you kind of hop on that before January ends, okay? Discount code resolutions26 at checkout. All right, Aquarius, let's see what you have to leave behind. 5 of Cups. This is a very good thing to leave behind. We are at a crossroads now where we have to start letting go of things. Stop crying over spilled milk. It happened. It occurred already, whether that is sadness, anger, remorse, whatever. Having an expectation that didn't go through. It happened. We have to get up now. We have to let this go. We should allow the new year to bring in certain prosperities, especially things that we deserve. Okay? This year we should focus on being the Knight of Swords. So it's being a little more communicative. It's being more expressive even. You know, you're probably the type of sign that likes to keep a lot of things to yourself. You know, unlike your counterpart, Leo, you don't like a lot of attention. You don't like to express yourself. You don't like to be the center of it. You just like to do you. Like, you're a very individual kind of personality. But it's okay to engage and exchange ideas with other people. So we also want to be able to provide that sense of expression back to ourselves. Being able to forgive ourselves for these past occurrences that happened. Forgive ourselves whether we are the one that initiated the changes or the ones that had to receive it. Either way, we need to be kinder to ourselves mentally and verbally. Third card here we have is the Page of Swords. So I feel like this year you're going to be vacillating between, you know, trying to put yourself out there and be more engaging and charismatic. But then a part of you also, I don't know if it is some sort of programming or some sort of belief system you have that whatever you learned when you were a kid is the only way things have to be. And that's a rigid way of thinking. Not everything is constant or is as is. There are gray areas. So I feel like you will be vacillating between being, you know, trying to be a little more open, but then also delegating between certain beliefs where you're a bit more closed off. Okay? And I think you know that those kinds of, like, that way of thinking of being closed off or expecting something to be just as is has also led you here with the 5 of Cups. So everything is kind of like in full circle. All right, Aquarius, let's see if we can get some details about these 3 cards. I wouldn't be surprised if when you were younger, you were probably more talkative. You probably had a lot of friends. Whereas right now, you're a little more distant. And I think you're trying to get back into the swing of getting out of that hermit mode and just trying to communicate, trying to build a sense of community, just trying to, go out there, put yourself out there with other people. The thing that makes it difficult is that I don't know if your sense of value is tied to money, right? If it is, you need to figure out how to improve that if that is the case, okay? You have to also understand that currency is not just about money. Currency could be energy exchange, it could be time. So you need to kind of find value in what currency means to you. Is it just financial? And if so, why does that determine your value? Again, this goes back to the thinking that, programming that you had maybe when you were very young, that money was the end all be all, and the only way people will see your value or your worth is if you were to possess them. But I don't see that being the case here. No disrespect, but when you don't communicate, when you don't build connections, it makes it harder for you to be able to find money or be in a position where you can earn more than what you're currently doing right now. So instead of kind of dwelling or playing a martyr in this case, you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone and put yourself in a position where you're within a kind of society or a community, building connections and showing your sense of worth in other areas, or in your personality, your style, the way you represent yourself. It's not just about what you have, but what you can make with what is due, what you already have. You know what I'm saying? So it's being able to change your mindset and to see things from a different perspective. Okay, so you can attract the things that you want. Money and communication go hand in hand. So for some, I don't know if you guys are in sales, or maybe you would be really good at marketing or public relations, or being in a stage where you have to sell yourself. That is the type of value and worth that I think that you can absolutely improve in your life, and you will see the money will come in. You won't have to spend so much out. More will come to you. But you got to find innovative ways to do it. But it has a lot to do with you being really chatty. Okay, you got to put yourself out there. Because this position here is one that is very lonely. And not one that is very happy. Very positive. Very comforting. I mean, if you've been here for a while, then this is all you know. This is your only form of being able to express comfort, is through sadness and loss. But I think you realize that you don't want to feel like this anymore. So, see this girl, she's kind of like, she's probably getting a haircut she's never gotten before by someone who's never cut her hair. So she's nervous, but you kind of have to allow yourself to experience this because it may be a positive outcome. Okay? All right, Aquarius, after you're able to put yourself out there and build that community and see that, the information that you provide to people, the way that you're able to help them is a form of strength that I don't think you realize that you've always had. Okay? And it comes from a place of understanding. It comes from a place of being compassionate. You realize that the way you can help others is through being relatable to them. Okay? And look at that. You go from the 5 of Cups and probably losing sleep at night over things you can't control to being able to find fulfillment in other aspects of who you are and sharing it with other people. The burden is not there anymore. So, manifestation. So this tells me that where you were at in 2025 is not going to carry on to 2026, if you don't want it to anyway. If you decide to stay here, then that's entirely up to you. You can absolutely do that. It's your life. God gives us free will. Do what you will with that. But if you decide that you really are tired of being in a position of, self-loathing, and you want more for yourself and you want to take the risks, then it obviously is there for you. But it has a lot to do with changing the way you see things and pushing yourself to do better, to have better. So a lot of, financial currency has a lot to do with what you could put out into the world and that coming back to you. Remember, you are a sign that has to do with society, technology, innovation, just how we see the world. So in order for you to get things, you have to give back. All right. And you know exactly what to do. So we really want to be mindful of how we communicate, how we speak. We don't want to gossip about other people. We don't even want to get too much into other people's business, which I think you kind of understand that anyway. But in the event that you find yourself maybe being a little bit judgmental, catch yourself. And if you catch yourself, then you're one step closer to having self-awareness and being able to be a master at manifesting. Because then you realize that everything that you think, that you speak, and you put out there really does come back to you. It's all about paying attention. Once you're able to pay attention and you see and you connect the dots, then you have more control. And then you can kind of manifest the things that you want when you want. Everything is a process. All right, Aquarius? So this is good news. You will get over this hump. We're only 3 weeks in January, okay? So things will get moving by the spring. All right, let's bring out some oracle cards for you. Let's see what energies you should consider. Fruition and assessing. So these things to me go hand in hand with the Magician and the Fool. Fruition to the Magician, assessing the Fool, judgment here. So a lot of what you're going to be doing, like I said, is acquiring that self-awareness, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, understanding that when you're feeling a certain mood, there's certain effects that come with it. Okay, so we're really going to be mindful of our thought process, of the way we communicate, who we are in front of other people, what our insecurities might be that get triggered, how we can react to them better. Everything has to do with us and our reactivity. Okay? So we're going to be really judged this, whether it's your season or throughout the year. Everything's going to have a reaction and a consequence to it. So it's just you having to assess better and to pay attention to what you're putting into the ether. All right, but the way I see it, it's a very sunny road. There's lots of yellow here, so also balancing your solar plexus chakra, which has to do with your confidence and your happiness. All right, I suggest doing a 5-minute meditation where you think of any object that's yellow. We want to focus on the color to kind of elevate the energy of that chakra. It could be blocked right now. So we want to focus on everything yellow, maybe even wearing a little more yellow, maybe eating more foods that are of yellow color. Try to do that in your month. Focus on this color and see if you experience any kind of positive changes. Or maybe your mood is a little more positive. You're not as, reactive or negative or, upset even or over, self-loathing. So try that out for me, Aquarius. Let me know how it goes. All right, I'm going to leave that here for your season. Happy birthday again. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you Pisces season. Bye.